All right, in this video, I'm going to show you how to use the coping saw. We're also going to show you what baseboard looks like. I don't have any crown molding. So this is baseboard. This goes along the bottom of your wall, above your floor in your house. All right, it gives it a decorative look. It's mainly decoration. But this is the part, this is what we call finished carpentry. This is the part that's got to look nice. You don't want any gaps. All right, you really can't settle for mediocrity here. Right, rough framing, you can end up with some gaps and stuff because you're going to end up, it's all going to get covered up. This is not going to get covered up. This is what people are going to see. You see this in your house. All right, and almost all of you probably have baseboard in your house. So one of the things that you can do is, let's say that you've got an inside corner. I'm just going to simulate an inside corner. Is you can cut a 45 here, you can cut a 45 here. If you cut two 45s, that makes a 90. And that will give you your inside corner. And that's what your gap would look like, okay? Nice, straight up gap. Now the reason I cut these on the miter saw, all I did was stand it up on the miter saw, move it to a 45, and chop it, all right? The reason that a lot of people, depending on the house, now like if you're, depending on the house, like if you're working on a spec house or apartment buildings or something, a lot of times they will 45 it, caulk it, paint it, move on. If you're running a nicer house and you want a tight fit, the reason that this doesn't necessarily work is 45 and 45 make a 90. Well, if your corner's not exactly square, square means anything other than 90. So it could be 88 degrees, which means it would be like, you would end up like that, and you end up with a gap at the top. It could be like 92 degrees, where it ends up like that, and you end up with a gap here. Now I'm over exaggerating just to make the point here, but if you end up with a big gap like that, that's kind of hard to cover up, especially in a nicer house, all right? So what we do is we cope it. One other thing I do want to show you real fast, all right, is what we call a scarf joint. Scarf joint. So instead of cutting these two pieces straight and butting them together, all right, we cut two back 45s, and that ends up like that, and you can't see the joint near as much, right? The joint, it's really hard to tell where the joint's at. If you butt two pieces together on straight cuts, it's very, very easy to tell where the joints are at. So this is, I just call it back 45, but this is a scarf joint, all right? So if you can see those two, like that, very hard to tell. Once you nail it, caulk it, paint it, you can barely tell where the joint is at, all right? So we're gonna get into so this piece I coped yesterday in the video, and the suction got turned on, all right? And coping is just cutting out this profile. All right, the straight part here is easier. And then you get to the curved part, and you got to work your coping saw around that curved part. And just to give you an idea what coping would look like, this would go into my corner, that profile would fit up there. And with coping, it doesn't matter what degree angle my corner is. Even if my degree angle of my corner, I still end up with a tight fit, even if this is way out of whack. All right, so I end up with a fairly tight gap. Now the coping saw, I'm going to coat this edge right here. I don't know if you can see this in the picture. All right, in the video. But basically, we're going to coat up this edge. Here's wood. Here's the primed paint. We're going to cut up that edge right there along that line. We'll see how this goes. I'm going to clamp this down just so it doesn't move while I'm trying to cut it. Coping saw. All right. You can put the blade on with the teeth down or the teeth up. I prefer it the way I've got it now with the teeth down. All right. And whenever I cut, this is on a 45 already. That way I can see the part that I want to cut. We're not going to cut straight up and down. We're gonna back angle our saw at like a 10, maybe 15 degree angle. All right, and we're going to cut it like this. And I will say coping is really a skill that you have to practice to get good at. I don't do it enough to get great at it. I didn't even really cut that straight. Now I'm going to make what I call a relief cut right here at the top. I actually need to make it right here. Now, in all honesty, the way I've got this laid out, I would probably recut this in a house. But for demonstration purposes or anything, Now we get to the hard part, which is the curved portion. And all I want to do is follow that profile edge with my saw. Now that's definitely easier said than done. And I can make another relief cut. These little relief cuts just help me turn my saw. The one I did yesterday turned out definitely a lot better than this. I need to move this out so the saw can sit on my table. Now that is not my greatest work. The one I did yesterday definitely looks better. But I would probably recut this in real life. But for demonstration purposes, yeah. Right here at the corner, you can see I took out a little bit much and I didn't cut this actually all that straight. So I would probably